every person that you know, how do you know that you know that person? Because you have a model of them. That the person you think you know doesn't exist. You right now think of some person you know who's not in the same room as you, and you think you know that person. But how could you? That person is a so-called objective person, the person out there, they're not in the room. You're not actually knowing that person, you're knowing your model of that person. You think you know the person, you just know a model of the person. So guess what? This is really good news because if you have any problems with that person, you don't. You just have problems with your model of the person. Now, if you're thinking that you have to change the person in order to be okay, you're going to have a lot of problems because you don't get to do that. But if you start to understand that all you need to do is change your model, suddenly things become a lot easier. Or at least let's put it this way, they become manageable. Whereas trying to change things that you don't have access to and that you don't even know exist is pretty unmanageable. But most people spend their whole lives trying to do that. Think about that for a moment. Most people spend their whole lives trying to change things which they don't have access to. And by the way, they don't even know exist. And they make their entire okayness dependent upon those changes. It's all conditional, right? I'll be okay when these external things that I don't have access to and that I don't even know exist change in the way that I think they should. And then you can start to understand why so many people are so unhappy because they're trying to do something that doesn't, it's total fantasy. It doesn't exist at all. And the irony, I guess, is that people have it inverted, right? They would say that what I'm proposing is fantasy and that they're living in the real world. Whereas in fact, there's no evidence whatsoever of the reality of what they call the real world. The only evidence that we have, the only reality we have, is that which we actually experience. And what we actually experience are maps and models. So let's think about this, just to make this a little bit more down to earth. Okay, so let's say you have a desire to have more harmonious relationships, and let's make it specific to a desire for more harmonious relationship with a particular person. Okay, so there's a particular person who you would like to have more harmonious relationships with, and you're not experiencing that degree of harmony that you would like. Okay, so there's a desire there. It's presently unfulfilled. And then you can just pay attention and notice, okay, so I'm every time that I am experiencing conflict with this person, what's going on? What leads to this conflict? What are the steps that take place that results in this conflict? If I don't know that, then it's going to be really difficult for me to make any change, right? I mean, I actually want to have that information. Then what I can find out is, based on that information, this will help me to know how can I improve that. So then I can notice that my maps and models are what are leading me to have those results, those experiences. Just like that experience that I described when I had that map and I turned on that road, and that road was not a good road to get me where I wanted to go. That road was leading to the top of a mountain and then it stopped. There was no further road. That was not my destination. I was trying to go somewhere else. So if I just kept following that same map over and over and over and over, what's the likelihood that I'm going to get to my desired destination? And the answer to that is not good. So if I want different results, I have to change something. I have to change the map that I'm using so that it can deliver me to a different location, preferably one that I want to get to. So I have to actually use the information that is given to me intelligently and then start to survey the land, as it were, and make some updates, right? So just like I did in that experience where I turned down that road because the map said to, and then at a certain point I started to realize there's a discrepancy here. The map is saying this is going to give me my desired results. But what I'm actually experiencing is showing me something different. So then I need to go back and I need to update my map. So I need to do the same thing in the rest of my life. That's the point I'm making. So if I'm having these experiences in my relationship where I keep having this same kind of conflict and I'm not noticing what's going on, basically it's like, okay, so my map says turn left, go on this road that's not very well maintained, that leads to this place. That's not where you want to go. And then I end up there and I'm like, oh, here I am again in this unhappy place. Who's to blame? I am, because I keep doing it. I can get really upset. I can blame everything and everybody else. But what the intelligent thing to do is to actually, but again, you didn't know this. Nobody knew this. None of us were told until now. Now you know. But before now, you probably didn't know because hardly anybody knows this. But think about how powerful this is. So so when you meet with failure or frustration in your life, that's just feedback letting you know that your map or model is out of date. And you have the ability to change it. How do you do that? Well, when you know where you want to go, then you can just go back to the point where you last had certainty that you were well on your way, that you know, I'm on the correct path. Then you notice, okay, so my old map had me turning this way. And at that point, things start to go south. So now I know, don't turn that way. That is not the right direction. I need to update my map. So, and the really good news is that we actually have built-in GPS. Okay, so in my relationship, think about this. So if I know what my destination is harmony in terms of this relationship, right? I know what I want. I want harmony in this relationship. So I'm going along and I'm paying attention and I'm noticing, okay, is it harmonious? Is this harmonious? Yes, it's harmonious. And then all of a sudden, whoops, not so harmonious. Okay, well, don't go any further. Back up. Here's the point at which I last knew that I was on track. Now I have good information. I can update my map. I'm now going to say, don't go that way. If I go that way from now on, it's because I'm just making just a poor decision. So I now have that information. Now I want to know, okay, now following my inner GPS, where is harmony? And at a certain, sometimes our brains will say, I don't know where it is. I have no idea where it is. I'm lost, I'm clueless. But here's a way you can frame this that can be really helpful. Just play along as if you can know the answer. Play along as if you really do have an unerring inner GPS that can tell you exactly where harmony is. Because actually you do. You do have that. So if you just play along as if you do, and don't believe the thoughts that say, I don't know, and I can't know, and I'll never figure it out. Just play along as if you can and you do, and then you can and you do. And it will, and then you can update your map. And what will happen is now you'll know exactly how to do it. And then you can repeat that over and over and over until it becomes so easy and second nature, you don't have to think about it at all. Just like, think about this. Whenever you have certain routes that you take over and over and over in your life. If you walk or you drive, right? Or you take public transportation. So you go places, you go to work or to the store or wherever you go. And then you go home. And you have certain routes that you take. And maybe you have, like route A and route B. It's like the scenic route and the non-scenic route. You have a couple of routes that you usually take, right? And you don't have to think about it. You're not agonizing and stressed out about, oh, do I turn this way? Do I turn that way? Have I missed it? You don't have to, because it's in you. You don't have to think about it. It happens almost automatically. So when you've updated your inner map and you've repeated it a few times, you don't have to think about it anymore. So at first, if I have a desire for harmony in this relationship, and my old map has me going this way that leads to lack of harmony, then as long as that's my familiar way, and I haven't actually done the work necessary to update my map, then what I'm going to tell myself, and I'll tell other people, is, oh, it's so hard. It's just so hard. I don't know what I can do. I don't know what I should do. I just keep finding myself here, and it's all their fault, and it's all this thing's fault, and it's all life's fault, and it's just so hard. And other people will say, oh yeah, it's so hard. I know exactly what you're talking about. Poor you. It's so hard. But the thing is, when you've updated your map, you want harmony, right? I mean, if you want harmony, then it's not hard. You just haven't developed the habit of it yet. Once you've developed the habit of it, why would it be hard? You want it. Like, what's hard about feeling good? Is there anything hard about feeling good? I mean, as long as you're feeling good, is that hard? It's not hard at all.